Hey there, friends. Have you ever wondered why some folks seem to glow with peace and freedom as they age, while others feel weighed down by their relationships? Here's a truth that might hit close to home. After 60, love can sometimes turn into a quiet burden, draining your energy and stealing your joy. Studies show that older adults often face stress from constant compromise, with over 60% reporting emotional exhaustion in long-term partnerships. Take Sarah, a 68-year-old who felt trapped, always adjusting to her partner's needs, until she chose independence and rediscovered her spark. Don't worry, though this isn't about giving up on love. It's about seeing the full picture and choosing what truly lights up your later years. Stick with me as we explore 5 reasons why staying single after 60 might just be the smarter, happier choice, and how you can embrace a life filled with freedom and hope. Reason 1. The emotional weight of constant compromise. As you age, your tolerance for stress naturally shrinks, and the effort to keep a relationship balanced can start to feel overwhelming. In your younger years, adjusting your habits like what to cook for dinner or where to go on vacation might have seemed like no big deal to keep the peace. But after 60, those little concessions can stack up, sapping your emotional energy and leaving you feeling more tired than fulfilled. A study from the American Psychological Association found that older adults in relationships with frequent compromises experience 20% higher anxiety levels compared to those who are single or in low-conflict partnerships. Picture Robert, a 74-year-old who spent years molding his life around his wife's preferences. He adored her, but her habit of cranking up the morning news while he longed for silence chipped away at his calm. Over time, these small sacrifices left him emotionally worn out, wondering when he stopped prioritizing his own joy. It's tough to imagine someone losing their spark just to avoid a fight. But here's the bright side. Choosing your emotional health can be a game changer. By breaking free from the need to constantly adjust for someone else, you can rediscover the thrill of living life your way, whether it's enjoying a quiet breakfast or choosing your favorite book to read. Uninterrupted. This isn't about turning away from love. It's about reclaiming your energy to make your later years vibrant and joyful. Taking this step can motivate you to put your happiness first, reminding you that your peace is worth protecting in this precious chapter of life. Reason 2. The loss of true independence. As you enter your later years, you've earned the right to live life on your own terms, free from the responsibilities of raising kids or meeting work demands. But being in a relationship often means your choices are still tethered to someone else's needs, habits, and expectations. Even in the happiest partnerships, you might find yourself checking in, coordinating plans, or adjusting your routine to keep things running smoothly. A 2018 study from the Journal of Gerontology found that older adults in relationships report 15% less personal autonomy compared to their single peers, which can lead to feelings of frustration and confinement. Let me share Frank's story. At 78, Frank had been a devoted husband for decades. After his wife passed, he discovered something unexpected: the freedom to make decisions just for himself. For the first time, he could wake up without a schedule dictated by someone else's needs, travel on a whim, or pick up a new hobby without discussion. It wasn't that he didn't love his wife. It was that he hadn't realized how much of his independence had been quietly shaped by compromise. It's hard to think of someone living a life where their own desires take a back seat for so long. But here's the hopeful part. Embracing independence can open up a world of possibilities. When you're single, you can reconnect with your unfiltered thoughts, make choices that spark joy, and move through life without invisible constraints. Imagine deciding to redecorate your home or take a solo trip just because it feels right for you. This isn't about rejecting companionship. It's about giving yourself the gift of freedom to live fully as yourself. By choosing independence, you can inspire yourself to embrace this chapter with confidence. Knowing your later years can be a time of rediscovery and joy. Reason 3. The emotional exhaustion that comes from constant compromise. As you age, your energy for navigating the give and take of a relationship often wanes. Yet partnerships still demand ongoing adjustments that can leave you feeling mentally drained. When you were younger, compromising on small things, like watching a movie you didn't love or eating at your partner's favorite restaurant, might have felt like part of the teamwork that builds a bond. But in your later years, these concessions can start to feel like a slow leak, sapping the peace you crave. Research from the Journal of Aging and Health shows that older adults in relationships with high levels of compromise report 25% higher rates of emotional fatigue compared to those living independently. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 72-year-old who cherished her husband, but found herself worn out by years of tweaking her daily routine to suit his preferences. She'd skip her morning walks to join him for early breakfasts he insisted on, even though she loved the quiet sunrise strolls. Over time, these small sacrifices left her feeling like she was losing herself, her energy fading under the weight of always putting his needs first. It's tough to imagine someone so devoted feeling so depleted just to keep the harmony. But here's the uplifting side. Choosing to step away from this cycle can bring a refreshing sense of freedom. When you're single, every decision from what time to wake up to how to spend your evenings is yours alone, giving you the space to recharge and rediscover what makes you happy. Picture Margaret now, walking at dawn, her heart light because she's living for herself. This isn't about closing the door on love. It's about opening one to a life where your emotional well-being comes first. By embracing this choice, you can motivate yourself to reclaim your energy, filling your later years with the calm and joy you deserve. Reason, the heavy burden of caretaking. When we think of love in our later years, we often picture companionship and shared moments. But what's less talked about is the overwhelming responsibility that can come when a partner's health declines. As you age, one partner's illness can turn the other into a full-time caregiver, a role that's both physically and emotionally taxing. Studies from the National Institute on Aging show that elderly caregivers face a 30% higher risk of depression and chronic stress compared to non-caregivers, often at the cost of their own health. Let me share James's story. At 77, James had been married for over 30 years when his wife fell ill. He stepped in without hesitation, helping with her medications, doctor visits, and daily tasks. At first, it felt like an act of love. But as years passed, the weight of it all took its toll. James stopped sleeping well, lost weight, and barely had time to care for himself. What began as devotion became a consuming obligation that left him exhausted and unwell. It's heart-wrenching to think of someone giving so much of themselves that they lose their own vitality. But here's the hopeful part. Choosing to prioritize your well-being can bring a sense of relief and empowerment. By staying single, you can focus on your own health, maintaining the energy to enjoy your days, whether it's gardening, catching up with friends, or simply resting when you need to. Imagine James with the freedom to nurture himself, his stress lifted because he's no longer carrying the weight of another's care. This isn't about turning away from love. It's about protecting your health so you can live your later years with strength and joy. By making this choice, you can inspire yourself to embrace a life where your well-being comes first, ensuring your golden years shine as brightly as they should. Reason, the financial and emotional strain of late-life partnerships. Many of us imagine that having a partner in our later years brings comfort and security. But the reality can be far more complicated, with shared expenses and emotional tensions adding unexpected stress. Relationships often come with financial entanglements, like covering medical bills or supporting a partner's needs, which can erode the savings you've worked hard to build. A 2021 study from the Journal of Marriage and Family found that older adults in new partnerships face a 20% higher risk of financial strain compared to those who remain single, especially when one partner has greater financial burdens. Let me tell you about Ellen, a 76-year-old widow who entered a new relationship hoping for companionship. At first, it felt wonderful, but soon she found herself covering shared living costs and even helping her partner's struggling family. What started as love turned into a financial obligation that dipped into her retirement savings, leaving her anxious about her future. Beyond money, the emotional toll of disagreements over spending or financial priorities weighed heavily, turning her golden years into a source of worry. It's tough to think of someone like Ellen, who just wanted connection, feeling trapped by these burdens. But here's the hopeful side. Choosing to stay single can bring a sense of control and peace. When you're on your own, every dollar you spend or save is your decision, letting you plan for a secure future without guilt or conflict. Picture Ellen now, living comfortably within her means, free to spend on what brings her joy, like traveling or treating her grandkids. This isn't about shouting out love. It's about safeguarding your financial and emotional well-being so you can thrive. By embracing this independence, you can motivate yourself to make choices that protect your peace, ensuring your later years are filled with the freedom and happiness you deserve. Well, friends, we've walked through 5 powerful reasons why staying single after 60 might just be the key to a happier, freer life. From the emotional weight of compromise to the financial strain of partnerships, it's clear that love in your later years can sometimes bring more stress than joy. Studies, like those from the Journal of Gerontology, show that single older adults often enjoy a 15% greater personal autonomy and lower stress levels than those in relationships, reminding us that independence can be a gift. Think of folks like Robert and Ellen, who found peace and rediscovered themselves by choosing their own paths, free from burdens that dimmed their spark. It's sobering to realize how much we might hold on to relationships out of habit or fear. But here's the hopeful truth. Your later years are your time to shine, to live without constraints, and to prioritize your happiness. Whether you choose to embrace single life or redefine your relationships, make sure it's a choice that lifts your spirit and honors your well-being. Take a moment to reflect. Are you living in a way that truly serves you? You deserve a life filled with joy, not obligation. So, let's make a promise to ourselves today to chase peace, protect our hearts, and make our golden years truly golden. I'd love to hear your thoughts below. What's one step you'll take to put your happiness first? Your support keeps this conversation going, so please like, subscribe, and share to inspire others. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.